Hello there, everybody. I've decided to make a tier list video. This one, I'll rank the saddest deaths in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, parts 1 through 6. Through the tier list templates that I have seen on the subject, none of them seem to be complete 100%, but through the ones that I have seen, this one seems to be the most complete one. It's made by James J. I'll just go through the deaths that are in the tier list and rank them based on my own interpretation, based on my own opinion of them, based on my emotion based on them, because we're ranking them based on sadness. And obviously, spoilers ahead for the animated parts. No spoilers, thankfully, for Steel Ball Run. And I'll talk about any deaths that are not in this template here. So, yeah, let's go through them real quick. Dario Brando. He's the first character to ever die on screen, I think maybe besides Jonathan's mother, if she had died in that carriage. It's been a while since I've really checked on part 1, so I don't fully remember, but I think that his death doesn't really show him much of an abusive piece of shit as he is. I feel like in the grand scheme of things, he did kind of care about Dio, but he's just an awful dad, so he couldn't really show it. But I think that overall, I wouldn't really celebrate his death, but at the same time, it's not really sad, nor is it particularly memorable. So I'll put him in okay, because I wouldn't celebrate it, and it is kind of interesting how it shows him being a bit more sympathetic than he usually is or seems to be towards Dio, but he's still the first death. We don't know anything about the series yet, and he still is an abusive father. So yeah, Danny's death never really clicked with me. Honestly, I kind of just saw it as way too over the top. That I more so find it funny than like genuinely traumatizing. So yeah, sorry. That one really never clicked with me. I just kind of find it way too over the top. Like Dio just shows up and instantly fucking sets him on fire. Like I can't help but find that a bit funny. Yeah. George Joestar the First. Honestly, his death is kind of expected. Like, really, did anybody get shocked that he killed him? Not really. I kind of think that I don't really care. I mean, it is a death that I don't really remember at all, but I kind of just saw it coming. Like, and he never really had any much of a deeper personality, so yeah, I don't really care. Yeah, I put Dario over George Joestar the First. That is super random. Bruford. This one hurts. Seeing their backstories, Bruford and Tarkus's backstories, and seeing just how he turns just is really sad, and it really makes you think, and like how he, despite being an emotionless zombie corpse, how he regains his morality and sees Jonathan's true warrior, while Tarkus didn't do that. He died the monster that Dio made him. It's just really, yeah, it is. This, in my opinion, is the first bit of like truly memorable thing about JoJo. And even though I like part 1 a lot, I think this is where JoJo picked up, and so I will put it in oh no. I know that I didn't know what to name the second tier. It's not really quite a 3 dots level, but it is probably going to be the top of oh no tier. It is just, let's move on. Will A. Zeppeli Honestly, that one I also didn't hit me. It should hit me. It's a main Joe Bro death, the first Joe Bro to ever die. So this one should hit me, but like I'm not really. He kind of saw it coming. He himself knew that he'd die. We all know he'd die. It was everything just pointed towards that, and the way that he died kind of made me feel like he probably doesn't want us to feel sad, and just want us to focus on the task at hand. I think that is a good that fight. The fact that it doesn't make me sad actually kind of strengthens it because he died comfortably. He sacrificed his life to push a warrior that he saw, and he died at least in the improved dub that adds him having a son. He died, kind of accomplished and wanted us to move on to the more important things rather than staying and being sad over his death. So you know what? I'll put it in okay, but I think that is intentionally an okay. Darkus's death is not here, but it kind of gets me too, kind of like Bruford, but not as much, because we know like how Bruford is as a person. Behind the fact that Dio made him a emotionless zombie, we saw how he is, how much of a warrior, and how sad he made us when we saw his death. So I kind of think Tarkus might be like that, but we just never were to see that because he didn't beat his demonic side that Dio made him through. So that death is an honorable mention. It is not in here for some reason. I mean, it's like why is Dyer's death here but not Tarkus's? That's kind of weird, but moving on. We have Dyer. I don't know why this guy's a fan favorite. So a lot of people seem to be into him, and I just like why. I don't really see that much in him, honestly. I mean, again, I wouldn't really celebrate his death, but at the same time, I don't get why people are so into this guy. I guess it is cool how he jumped into fighting Dio, and like he wasn't just a mumbling idiot. No, he actually had strategy. He was smart, but it's just he underestimated Dio. But yeah, that one doesn't really click with me that much. Dio's death, quote unquote, he didn't even die, but I honestly see this as just your usual hero defeats villain death. I don't see that much in it. Yeah, it is just, I don't really care. But Jonathan's death is heartbreaking because, I mean, I'm going to say that what people have said for whenever this death is mentioned. It is just so heartbreaking how, despite all of the shit that Dio made Jonathan go through, Jonathan still clings to him in his last moment, seeing him as his brother and his true best friend, and that is just unbeaten. That just shows how much of a hero Jonathan is. Even in his last moment, he couldn't let his brother go, even though he literally destroyed his life more than probably any fictional character have destroyed any character's life, or something like that. I'm not really gonna say that, but yeah, it is just a very emotional moment, and kind of a really interesting end for a shonen anime, especially in the 80s. It is a really well-written moment. Is it better than Bruford? I think they're kind of tied in. Actually, I said that Bruford's death is going to be top of Ono, but I think, actually, this might be our first silent tier. Yeah. I didn't really care about George Joestar II. I mean, there is the Jorge Joestar novel, but believe that one is a alternate universe. Yeah, I don't really. I don't really care. It's just made for a backstory. Honestly, I don't really see it. Now Mario Zeppeli, that one is the mystery surrounding it all, and the fact that it turned Caesar 360 degrees is so it's just so mysterious, and it's so odd, and but at the same time you understand a lot of it. You understand, we know why all of it happened, but it's just the way that it's written is very sad. And the fact that Mario died without knowing that that's his son that he was giving that task to is, yeah, I'll put this one in I'll put that one in. That sucks, because in the grand scheme of things, it's not that important to the story. But it does. It is a very well written backstory. How is it that Caesar has a better backstory than Joseph's? Straight Zoe always gets me. That one is. I feel like a lot of JoJo fans have this specific side character that they really connect with and they really love, and despite them just being a very side character, like they're not that important, and they're really unpopular in a lot of ways, but for some reason they just really connect with them, and I feel like Straight Zoe might be that character for me. His death and his backstory with Lisa, and his desire to remain young again, and so much so that he kills his friend Speedwagon. Not kills him, but like attempts to kill him, and throws everything that he did, all the heroics that he did, out the window, just so he would remain alive. It really makes me think. It really makes me think about him, and that I feel like that Straight Zoe as a character might be one of the reasons why Part 2, Battle Tendency, is my favorite part of JoJo so far. Yeah, this one is really sad for me. Which one is this? Oh, Mark. Mark's death really feels sad in a way that it reminds me of just how a normal person in JoJo could just die, because Mark seemed like a very average person. He seemed like a super average guy that just died like this. He died in the snap of a finger, and the way that Caesar reacts to it also gets me, because it shows us a very good foreshadowing to how Caesar reacts to death, how Caesar reacts to his friends' deaths, and how the way he describes him is very it's very telling to me. I really like how they wrote that death. But again, really side character. We only see Mark for like a very short time, but it does set up a very good foreshadowing for Caesar. So just like Caesar's other foreshadowing death, or not foreshadowing, just like another Caesar-related death, I'll put this one in. Oh, that sucks. Which one is this? Is this Logs? Okay, for some reason Log's death is here. I don't care. I mean, okay, it sucks that he died, but at the same time, we didn't really see anything from him, so it's kind of weird that, Tark, again, why is Tarkus not here, but fucking Logs is here? I don't know, I feel like this might be somebody that isn't Logs, and I'm just... Or wait, that is Logs. That's clearly ECDC. Yeah, never mind, that is Logs, definitely. Speaking of which... ECDC. Okay, I will put it in El Bozo, just based, it's not a bad death whatsoever, but just my reaction to it is very, I find it really funny how he just like is this strong, intimidating fucking monster, but when Joseph gets him and kicks his arm, he cries like a little bitch. I just find that funny, and the even funnier thing is, he literally just does that to let it out. The moment he stops crying, he just goes back to his original demeanor. I find that exceptionally funny. But his clinging to death and, the whole possessing Suzy Q thing, I think it is also well written how Joseph words it really well, how he's so desperate to life and to complete his goal that he attempts such a over-the-top move, but ECDC's death, I'll still El Bozo. Now we get to one of the big ones. Another main Joe Bro death. Oh boy, Caesar. How do I react to Caesar's death? Maybe not as much as other people, but at the same time, I can't overlook how it is really fucked up. When I finished Battle Tendency, I kind of was more critical of Caesar. I kind of felt like, oh no, his backstory, he immediately, for some reason, becomes pissed. I did not yet figure out that all of these deaths, both of these deaths are foreshadowings. So I didn't really respect him as a character that much. But now seeing this is so heartbreaking, dude. Like how he tries to fight Wamu to avenge his father. He's like so determined that he's not even strategizing. He just wants to get done with it. And even though he kind of rushed it, it doesn't take away from the fact that he's still, even Wamu respects him for that. And I think that his death, the way that it was written, definitely super sad. So I'll put him just behind Bruford, but it is just one of the deaths in JoJo. Wamu also gets me just how much of, I feel like, even though I believe people are way too sympathetic towards villains, I feel like Wamu is genuinely a villain that can have a chance to be redeemed. And the way that even though he is super loyal to Cars and ECDC, even Cars says it himself that he is not like them. He's a lot more sympathetic, and we see that in their backstory, how he refuses to kill just to embrace dominance. And seeing how he died, he literally kills some of Cars' troops because they get in the way of the honorable fight that he had with Joseph. And that one is just, really, really good character, really underrated villain. And his death, even though we all saw it coming, it kind of, I'm laughing at Cars' death, it kind of still sets him up. So yeah, Cars is an El Bozo, and it's just, I'm not going to talk about it much. It is really disappointing. It happens just because of an Deus Ex Machina. Oh no, Joseph, he died. Poor Joseph. Oh no. Stroheim. Okay, for Stroheim and Arena, I kind of, even though I really, really like them as characters, I feel like their deaths just being set as a what happened to them segment kind of takes it away. And even though like Stroheim dies in a way that is like, the narrator words it really well, showcasing just how he is as a soldier dying in battle. Yeah, that is a way I can see Stroheim dying. Even though whenever I think of his death, I always think, how strong were these soldiers to be able to take down this guy? Fucking hell. But yeah, I feel like their deaths aren't really that focused on just because they're what happened to them sections. So yeah, I don't really care. And then the same thing with Arena. Even though I really like her and her death, uh, it's the same case as Stroheim. Really, it's what happened to them after. I feel like they just had to do it, and it is an end to a character that we have seen since part one. So that is, yeah, the way that they wrote it was pretty good. It's weird that Speedwagon's death isn't here, but that one is also that one it literally doesn't have footage either. So yeah, whatever. Now we get to part three, Stardust Crusaders, and for some reason none of the villains are here, but I don't think that matters too much because I don't really care about any of them. I do like the death of Firefly, how he's built as this worldwide like super villain who is notorious for killing and doing all of these fucked up things, but he just dies praising Dio, and I think that sets up Dio so well. Same thing with Ebony Devil, yeah, but I think their deaths aren't that focused on, so I'll just roll with it. Oh, Avdol's fucking. Actually, I'll just make another tier, real quick. Okay, these deaths for terribly written aren't ones that make me laugh, aren't ones that make me sad. They're just badly written. Yeah, Avdol's first death. I feel like I didn't do much research, but I feel like people were just so pissed at Araki for killing Avdol, they just had to pull the, oh, actually, he was alive all along. And it's just so fucked up how they set up Polnareff like that. And I just think that it's just a really cheap way to bring him back, and it's just so shit. Yeah, but his original death as it is, I feel like it's too abrupt. Yeah, I don't know. It's just fucking shitty death. That's it. Andal. Andal is one I feel makes Jotaro stay awake at night. It makes you think how Dio treats his villains, and I think that the way Dio treats his employees or the people under him is very interesting because it's so contradictory. Um, like one person says one thing, Dio himself says another thing, in multiple ways. And when you add part six Dio into all that crap, it gets even more complicated. And wait a second, let me just get this cat out of the fucking room. Yeah, like the way he treats his villains is very interesting. And this one is very interesting too because Andal would rather die than have anything about Dio revealed. And this just is very interesting to me. It's not really one that makes me feel sad, but it is really interesting. I'll put it in okay. Yeah, I'll put it in okay. Okay, why is the... whatever. Inuyaba. Inuyaba also kind of really abrupt, but I really like how they built her after part 3. I do kind of find it sad. Like, when you look at her point of view, her son died, and she went to kill the ones that killed her son, and she gets killed in such a fucked up way. God, the way she was killed with the worms and everything, yeah. So I'll put it in. Actually, I'll put it in the top of okay. I'll change these up. Yeah. Mark and Mario are kind of tied. This one is done really well, and actually, let me change this one up a bit. Well, Dio's death is definitely up there on the I don't care tier. Stroheim and yeah, these two are up there. I think this one checks out. El Bozo also checks out. It's kind of like, yeah. Afdol and Iggy. Wait, is that Afdol and Iggy? Yeah, Afdol and Iggy are for some reason tied. I mean, Afdol, I don't really care that much about his death. It's just so abrupt that there's no room for you to feel anything. But Iggy is just... Yeah, Iggy's death is just so fucking sad, dude. Just the way his character development happens in the final battle alone sets him as, in my opinion, one of, if not the best character in part 3. I mean, in the previous in a video I made of like the opening's ending, whenever my favorite character showed up, he is my favorite character in part 3 for a bit, even though that list kind of changes depending on the weather. But yeah, his death is, and the way that he was like, he gets beaten the crap out of by Vanilla Ice, and he still has room to mock him, kind of shows how he's like more strong than him, at least in mind. Physically, obviously not, but in mind, he's just, yeah, he fucked up Vanilla Ice really good there. Which begs the question: is Vanilla Ice in here? No. I will still put him in El Bozo either way. This guy, I think Florida. I think he's an American politician or the mayor of Florida. I don't know. I'll just put him in El Bozo. Oh God, another one of the main deaths, Cockeween. Just, I feel like his spark of hope kind of lower it for me because it shows that he died happily. A bit, not super happily, but a bit better than how some AMVs put it out. And he died while putting himself to use. He is the person that discovered Dio's ability. And yeah, but his death is still fucking heartbreaking as hell. I will put it in the bottom of 3 dots. Who is that? Wait, who is that? Is that... Oh, Dio. Oh, for Dio, just El Bozo. I mean, Dio is kind of the character you love to hate, so El Bozo, even though he's one of my favorite characters, and or at least one of my favorite villains, the part 6 kind of toned him down for me when it comes to favorite character, but he is still fucking great, and his death just died like a bitch. Yeah, El Bozo. Josuke's grandpa feels like a death that they should have went more into, but it was so abrupt. So I would just say it's okay. I like it sets up. I don't know. I feel like it was way too abrupt. Yeah, just literally he dies, then they have a funeral, like one funeral later, and boom, they're just back to fighting Angelo. It's just so weird. Oh, Keicho Nijimura. A death that you would have to think more about in order to get the feelings out of it. And honestly, it's just... Yeah, honestly... Wait, actually, no, I think it's lower than Wamo. It's just so heartbreaking, his backstory. But at the same time, it's karma. It's karma for putting all of these people, making all of these stand users. He literally made his killer. So, yeah, I don't think it's as sad as, say, Cockeween or Iggy, but it's given the backstory and how he use how his last words to Okuyasu and how his feelings toward Okuyasu are very contradictory to how he shows them, and it's just, and the way that he died too, just Okuyasu seeing him like that, it makes you think about Okuyasu as a character, man. Yeah. Shigechi is I think it's a very sad death. Part 4 doesn't really have that many deaths, but this one is the death for part 4, and it's just, you might say that it's goofy how literally nobody in the school reported him or tried to help him, but what really gets me is us seeing his spirit fly in the Purgatory Street. That was really sad, and given just how his intention is as a character, like, he is not a great person, but at the same time he's a fucking teenager, dude. So yeah, I think his death is really well written and made me really sad, especially on rewatches, seeing his screams and all. Is that Ayatsuji? Yeah, that is Ayatsuji. I mean, I don't really care. She was like, her episode was already kind of filler with with Yukiko, so I didn't really care about that episode much. So yeah, her death is the way that her death was abrupt. Just, yeah, I don't really care. Just funny how when they discovered Shigechi's death, she was like, "Oh, I think the killer wouldn't come to me, but I would still tell my customers about him." Then he just comes up to her in the next fight. It's just such a weird foreshadowing, but it just happens. Adam Hartfather, I mean, just El Bozo, I don't know. Same, kind of, Kira's death, I think, deserves a discussion on its own, just how written it is. But for now, I'll spare myself the tangents and just put it in okay, because he is a villain that you're supposed to hate, so I don't really feel that sad over his death, but it's just the way it was approached is really interesting. Is there any deaths that I didn't mention in parts 3 to 4? I don't really think so, no. If I missed something in this video, maybe I'll write it in the comments, but yeah. Oh god, another one that deserves its own discussion is Bulbo. Just the way that it sets up Giorno. Okay, part 5 for me is the JoJo part of all time. It's just, when it's good, it's really fucking good, but when it's bad, it's just shit. But what it definitely has better than all of the other parts in JoJo is the start. It has the best start. It sets up Giorno really well, and I just am in love with that first arc, especially how Giorno is set up. So it's another death that's like has to do a lot more with the development of one character more than the character themselves. So reaction to Bulbo's death on his own is like, I don't really care. He's a fucking mafioso. But about like Bulbo, about like Giorno's development, I think it is a really good, well-written death, but Bulbo himself, I don't really care. Actually, let's put him in El Bozo just because of the way he died is really funny. Next, we have Pesci. Pesci's death is sad. Yeah, it is really sad. And how he was like... I forgot... The thing is, I forgot his brother's name. So I'll just name his brother the Hopeful Death, just based on his stand. The stand user and the stand are kind of one and the same anyway, in a way. So, though he reacted to his brother's death is just he's like kind of, like he turns 360 degrees, and even though he doesn't really hurt Bricharati in any way after his death, his stepping up is definitely really well written, honestly, and it's a really good. I'm struggling to find words. Is the thing. It's really. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna talk much about it. I'm barely knowing what to say. So I'll just put it in. Oh no. Actually, that sucks because in the grand scheme of things, I don't really care much about his death. But yeah. Where is? Whose death is that? Okay, yeah, that's his brother. Kind of less. Honestly, I don't really care. Why the hell is for some reason they don't have Risotto Nero's death in the tier list template. Oh, god damn it. He's one of my favorite characters in all of JoJo. So I'll put him in here just for the sake of it.